Greetings from Wood Pellet Vina, your premier destination for comprehensive insights into the evolving wood pellet sector. Today, we are pleased to present the following topic: the ultimate step-by-step wood pellet production process guide. Let's listen. As the global demand for sustainable fuel continues to surge, the spotlight is increasingly turning toward innovative and renewable resources. One of the most promising solutions leading this green revolution is the wood pellet. This highly efficient biomass fuel has transformed the way we heat our homes, power our massive industries, and sustainably manage global forestry waste. By systematically compressing sawdust, wood chips, and various agricultural byproducts into dense, energy-rich cylinders, modern manufacturers have successfully created a powerhouse of alternative energy. The journey from raw, untreated organic waste to a clean-burning, highly combustible fuel source is a true marvel of modern mechanical engineering. Understanding this intricate, step-by-step production process not only highlights the massive environmental benefits, but also showcases the advanced technological systems involved. Whether you are a business owner looking to invest heavily in a commercial pellet machine, or an eco-conscious consumer curious about sustainable residential heating, this comprehensive guide will walk you through every critical phase of manufacturing. From the initial collection and sorting of raw materials to the final commercial packaging and long-term storage, we will explore the precise mechanics, strict quality control measures, and fundamental scientific principles that ensure every single wood pellet meets the highest international industry standards. Join us as we delve deep into the fascinating world of modern biomass energy production and discover exactly how these small, unassuming wooden cylinders are making a massive, positive impact on our planet's sustainable energy future. Step 1. Raw material preparation and sourcing for wood pellets. The absolute foundation of any high-quality wood pellet begins with the careful selection, sourcing, and preparation of raw materials. Typically, the manufacturing feedstock consists of raw forestry residues, fine sawdust, broken wood chips, lumber mill scraps, and occasionally dry agricultural waste. The primary goal is to effectively utilize organic materials that would otherwise be left to decompose or end up in commercial landfills, thereby reinforcing the vital role of biomass as a genuinely sustainable form of alternative energy. Before any physical processing or machinery operation begins, manufacturing facilities must first establish and ensure a highly consistent, high volume, and reliable supply chain. This complex logistics operation involves partnering directly with local sawmills, massive furniture factories, and sustainable timber harvesting operations to gather bulk quantities of untreated, raw wood waste. The inherent quality of these initial raw materials directly impacts the final energy density, the combustion ash content, and the overall burning efficiency of the completed product. Unwanted contaminants such as loose dirt, stones, metal shards, and stray plastics must be rigorously and meticulously removed during the initial bulk sorting phase, as these tough impurities can severely damage the internal mechanics of a pellet machine later in the production line. Large industrial plants frequently employ heavy magnetic separators, advanced optic scanners, and heavy-duty vibrating screeners to thoroughly clean the incoming biomass stock before it enters the main facility. Furthermore, it is important to note that different wood species such as soft pine, hard oak, or dense spruce contain significantly varying levels of natural lignin, which is the vital organic polymer that will eventually bind the compressed fibers together. Manufacturers often carefully mix and blend different types of wood species to achieve a perfectly balanced feedstock that guarantees a vastly superior, structurally sound wood pellet. This highly meticulous initial preparation expertly sets the stage for a flawlessly smooth manufacturing process, ensuring that the final retail product delivers maximum thermal heat output while maintaining a minimal environmental carbon footprint. Sourcing these organic materials locally also significantly reduces heavy transportation emissions, aligning perfectly with the overarching global goals of utilizing clean, green alternative energy. Step 2. Crushing and grinding process for wood pellet feedstock. Once the massive volumes of raw materials are successfully collected, cleaned, and sorted, they must aggressively be reduced to a strictly uniform size before they can be effectively processed any further. This critical size reduction is absolutely crucial because large, bulky wood chips, or uneven, jagged lumber scraps simply cannot be fed directly into the hopper of a standard pellet machine without causing severe mechanical jams. The strict industry standard requires the raw feedstock to be finely ground down to a powdery consistency no larger than the physical diameter of the final wood pellet, which is typically measured to be around 3 to 5 millimeters. This aggressive grinding step is usually accomplished using massive, heavy-duty industrial hammer mills or high-torque wood crushing machines. A modern hammer mill features a continuously high-speed, rotating central shaft equipped with heavily weighted, swinging steel hammers that violently and repeatedly impact the wood chips against a sturdy, perforated metal screen. The raw material continuously bounces inside the milling chamber and continues to be violently pulverized until the wood particles are physically small enough to easily pass through the exact perforations of the heavy steel screen. Consistency in this particle size is not just about achieving uniform physical dimensions. It is actually about drastically maximizing the overall surface area of the individual microscopic wood fibers. A significantly larger surface area naturally allows for far more uniform heat drying and greatly ensures a much better, even activation of the natural chemical binders during the subsequent high-pressure extrusion phase. If the crushed wood particles remain too large, the final formed wood pellet may violently crack, easily crumble during transport, or possess a very rough, visually unappealing exterior texture. Conversely, if the wood particles are ground down too fine, the heavy machinery may inevitably experience continuous feeding and bridging issues, or it may require excessively high electrical power to forcefully push the powder through the system. Achieving the absolute perfect grind requires constant, vigilant monitoring and scheduled preventative maintenance of the entire grinding equipment line, ensuring that the hammer mill screens are entirely free of blockages and the swinging steel blades remain razor sharp. By completely perfecting this intense crushing and grinding stage, manufacturers lay a remarkably solid, reliable foundation for safely producing a high-density, incredibly clean-burning fuel that serves as a globally vital pillar in the ongoing worldwide transition toward green alternative energy. Step 3. Drying the materials to ensure optimal wood pellet quality. Arguably one of the most mechanically critical and scientifically delicate stages in the entire biomass manufacturing process is the exact, precise regulation of the raw material's moisture content. Freshly harvested green wood or heavily rain-soaked wet lumber scraps can easily retain an internal moisture content ranging anywhere from 30 to as high as 60%, which is profoundly too high for successful, stable pelletization. In order for a commercial pellet machine to function optimally and safely, the total moisture level of the ground wood fibers must be strictly and rapidly reduced to a highly specific sweet spot between exactly 10 and 15%. If the fed material is far too wet, the excessive trapped water will violently vaporize into expanding steam under the immense mechanical pressure, easily causing the newly formed wood pellet to literally explode or aggressively disintegrate the second it exits the metal die. Conversely, if the raw material is baked completely bone dry, there simply will not be enough natural moisture present to properly facilitate the chemical binding process, immediately resulting in excessive metal-on-metal friction, severe potential factory fire hazards, and an incredibly dusty, easily broken, fragile product. To safely achieve the absolutely perfect moisture balance, large-scale commercial production facilities actively utilize massive rotary drum dryers or immensely long thermal pipe dryers. As the finely ground biomass continuously tumbles through the massive, slowly rotating steel cylinders, superheated hot air, often ingeniously generated by internally burning waste bark or lower quality wood waste, flows forcefully through the entire system, rapidly and evenly evaporating the excess water. This highly brilliant, closed-loop thermal efficiency is a widely celebrated hallmark of modern, sustainable, alternative energy production facilities worldwide. Highly advanced digital sensors consistently and continuously monitor the internal humidity and air temperature within the roaring dryer, automatically and seamlessly adjusting the material feed rate and the burner heat input to effortlessly maintain incredibly strict quality control standards. The incredibly consistent result is a perfectly conditioned, beautifully homogeneous golden powder that is structurally primed and completely ready for the extreme crushing pressures of the upcoming extrusion phase. Proper, perfectly executed drying not only essentially guarantees the robust structural integrity of absolutely every single manufactured wood pellet, but it importantly maximizes its overall final calorific value, ensuring that paying consumers invariably receive a truly premium, consistently high heat fuel source. Step 4. High pressure pelleting and compression of wood fibers. The absolute beating heart of the entire commercial manufacturing operation firmly lies in the intense, high-pressure extrusion phase, where loose, fluffy wood powder is miraculously and rapidly transformed into a physically dense, rock-solid wood pellet. This incredible physical transformation occurs deep inside the armored core of the main pellet machine, a massive, incredibly heavy-duty piece of advanced engineering explicitly designed to easily withstand utterly immense physical stress and mechanical strain. The perfectly conditioned, precisely dried wood meal is automatically and continuously fed down into the heavy pelletizing chamber, where massive, heavy-duty solid steel rollers forcefully push the material hard through a thick, heavily perforated metal ring die. As the loose wood fibers are violently squeezed through these incredibly narrow, highly polished cylindrical holes, they instantly experience extreme, crushing physical friction and incredibly immense mechanical pressure. This intense physical action causes the internal temperature deep within the steel die to spike dramatically and instantly, often rapidly exceeding 120 degrees Celsius in a matter of seconds. This suddenly generated burst of intense heat serves a highly critical, completely natural chemical purpose. It safely melts the naturally occurring lignin, which is a complex organic polymer naturally present in all plant cell walls. The newly liquefied, hot lignin ingeniously acts as a completely natural, highly effective, and deeply penetrating glue that perfectly coats the heavily compressed wood particles as they are forced outward. As the highly pressurized, hot extruded material cleanly exits the exterior of the steel die, rapidly spinning automated cutting knives precisely slice the continuous, hot wooden noodles into completely standardized, perfectly uniform lengths. The hot, melted, natural lignin securely binds absolutely everything together without ever requiring the addition of any synthetic, artificial chemical adhesives. This completely natural binding process is exactly why a premium, high-quality wood pellet is universally considered to be a completely clean, completely non-toxic, and incredibly safe source of reliable alternative energy. The sheer, brutal mechanical force continuously exerted by the heavy pellet machine also dramatically and instantly increases the overall bulk density of the raw wood, miraculously transforming incredibly light, airy, fluffy sawdust into remarkably heavy, deeply compact fuel pellets that safely pack a truly massive amount of stored thermal energy. Actively monitoring this intense mechanical step requires highly skilled, deeply trained machine operators who must continually check the electrical amp load of the massive motors, the exact surface temperature of the steel die, and the immediate visual quality of the quickly emerging pellets to aggressively prevent catastrophic machinery jams and heavily ensure perfectly uninterrupted factory production. Step 5. Cooling and screening the finished wood pellets. Immediately upon rapidly exiting the heavy steel die of the pellet machine, the newly manufactured, freshly cut wood pellet is incredibly hot, distinctly soft, and highly fragile due to the extreme internal temperatures and the actively melted natural lignin from the intense extrusion phase. If these scorching hot, easily malleable pellets were to be carelessly packaged or piled extremely high immediately upon creation, they would rapidly deform, heavily sweat out residual moisture, and ultimately aggressively break apart into a completely useless pile of expensive dust. Therefore, implementing a specialized, highly efficient, and rapid cooling and mechanical screening process is absolutely and entirely essential to completely solidify and protect the newly formed product. The extremely hot pellets are very gently and carefully mechanically transported into a large counterflow cooling tower, which is a towering vertical silo where ambient room temperature air is forcefully pulled upward through the slowly descending cascade of hot pellets. This highly efficient, rapid ambient air cooling dramatically drops the core temperature of the fresh pellets to just a few brief degrees above standard room temperature within just a few short minutes. As the internal temperature rapidly falls, the beautifully melted natural lignin successfully hardens and completely cures, firmly locking the microscopic wood fibers tightly together forever and granting the newly finished wood pellet its highly characteristic, glossy, exceptionally durable, and smooth exterior finish. Once they are properly and thoroughly cooled down, the newly hardened pellets smoothly pass over a complex series of rapidly vibrating steel sieves or vigorously oscillating fine wire screens. This incredibly crucial final quality control separation step meticulously and cleanly separates any poorly unformed loose dust, highly fragmented broken pieces, or tiny powdery fines away from the perfectly formed, structurally sound premium pellets. The successfully rejected loose wood dust is absolutely not wasted or thrown away, staying completely true to the overarching zero-waste, highly sustainable philosophy of global alternative energy production. Instead, the rejected fines are safely, pneumatically vacuumed up, and efficiently cycled right back to the very beginning hopper of the main pellet machine to be completely repressed and reformed into perfect new pellets. The fully cured, thoroughly screened, and pristine premium pellets are now incredibly robust and structurally tough enough to easily withstand the harsh rigors of rough mechanical handling, heavy bulk truck transportation, and very long-term commercial storage. This highly meticulous process guarantees and perfectly ensures that all end users finally receive a truly pristine, incredibly low dust premium fuel product perfectly suited for their automated home pellet stoves or massive industrial power boilers. Step 6. Final packaging and storage of industrial wood pellets. The absolute final, highly anticipated milestone in the incredibly long production journey is the completely meticulous, secure packaging and the highly protective long-term storage of the finished, premium wood pellet. Despite boasting a highly tough, incredibly durable, and highly glossy exterior finish, these exceptionally dense cylinders of pure biomass still remain highly hygroscopic, basically meaning they can incredibly easily and rapidly absorb ambient moisture directly from the surrounding humid atmosphere if carelessly left openly exposed to the outdoor elements. Rapidly reabsorbing ambient moisture would inevitably cause them to massively swell, entirely lose their hard-earned structural integrity, and predictably suffer a highly drastic, unwanted reduction in their overall premium combustion efficiency. To properly and thoroughly protect this incredibly valuable, highly sought-after alternative energy source, commercial manufacturing facilities extensively employ massive, highly automated bagging machine systems that flawlessly seal the finished pellets directly into heavy-duty, highly moisture-resistant, thick plastic bags or tightly woven polypropylene bulk sacks. For everyday, standard residential consumers, they are most typically and conveniently packaged in easily handled 15-kilogram consumer retail bags, while massive industrial utility power plants might preferentially receive them in towering, massive 1-ton super sacks or directly via specialized bulk pneumatic delivery transport trucks. Throughout this incredibly fast-paced, highly automated packaging process, continuous random product samples are routinely and rigorously taken by factory technicians to strictly verify the final bulk fuel density, the exact internal moisture content, and the precise combustion ash percentage. This strictly ensures complete and unwavering compliance with incredibly strict international solid fuel standards, such as the highly respected EN Plus certification or the globally recognized Pellet Fuels Institute, strict quality certifications. Proper, highly logical factory storage logistics firmly dictate that the heavily wrapped pallets of carefully packaged pellets must be safely kept deep inside, completely dry, exceptionally well ventilated indoor commercial warehouses, safely elevated high off the cold concrete ground on thick wooden pallets to strictly prevent any creeping dampness or unexpected floor moisture from ever seeping in. By fiercely safeguarding the dense biomass fuel from the exact moment it fully leaves the automated pellet machine until it safely arrives at its ultimate final burning destination, dedicated manufacturers proudly guarantee that absolutely every single wood pellet successfully delivers the incredibly clean, highly concentrated thermal energy that paying consumers actively expect. This highly rigorous, unwavering attention to absolute detail in the very final mechanical stages firmly solidifies the final product's sterling global reputation as a highly reliable, truly premium, and universally accessible renewable energy resource. Frequently asked questions. 1. Question 1. What exactly is a premium wood pellet manufactured from? A high-quality wood pellet is exclusively and sustainably manufactured from highly compacted, thoroughly dried organic materials like raw sawdust, heavy wood chips, and various untreated forestry or agricultural byproducts. It is a completely 100% natural, eco-friendly product that successfully utilizes the wood's own inherent natural lignin as a highly secure binding agent, meaning absolutely no artificial glues, nasty synthetic binders, or highly toxic chemicals are ever added during the entire complex production phase. Question 2. Why exactly are these dense wooden pellets universally considered such a great form of alternative energy? They are widely considered an incredibly excellent and highly reliable source of clean alternative energy, primarily because they intelligently utilize discarded organic waste materials that would otherwise slowly decompose in massive commercial landfills. Furthermore, actively burning them in modern stoves is scientifically considered to be highly carbon neutral, as the exact amount of carbon dioxide safely released during actual combustion is roughly entirely equal to the exact amount the tree naturally absorbed from the atmosphere during its natural growth cycle. Question 3. Can I successfully run a small residential pellet machine at my home to legally make my own winter fuel? Yes, it is entirely possible to privately purchase a small residential scale pellet machine specifically for personal home use. However, you absolutely must incredibly carefully manage the exact incoming moisture content and the precise particle size of all your raw organic materials to successfully produce a truly viable, structurally sound wood pellet. Doing so successfully usually requires a highly significant personal time investment and a very deep, thorough technical understanding of both the preliminary crushing and the crucial drying processes. Question 4. Exactly how should I properly and safely store my bulk wood pellet supply for the cold winter season? To successfully maintain their exceptionally high energy efficiency and prevent unwanted crumbling, you absolutely must safely store all your purchased wood pellet bags in a completely dry, heavily sheltered, and fully climate-controlled environment such as an enclosed garage, a waterproof shed, or a dry indoor basement. Always be sure to carefully keep the sealed bags heavily elevated on thick wooden pallets to entirely prevent them from actively absorbing any ambient moisture directly from the cold concrete floor, which could quickly cause the highly compressed wood fibers to massively expand and completely crumble into useless dust. In final conclusion, the highly complex, massively impressive transformation of raw, discarded forestry waste into a truly high-performance, premium wood pellet is an absolutely remarkable, undeniable feat of modern mechanical engineering and advanced environmental science. Absolutely each and every distinct phase of the highly regulated production process, actively spanning from the incredibly violent initial grinding of the raw sawdust to the incredibly intense, high-pressure extrusion deep within the core of a state-of-the-art commercial pellet machine, constantly plays an absolutely pivotal and completely critical role in effectively ensuring that the final commercial product reliably burns incredibly clean, intensely hot, and phenomenally efficiently. As the modern world completely and urgently shifts entirely away from heavily polluting, incredibly toxic fossil fuels, the massive global importance of this highly sustainable, beautifully renewable fuel source simply cannot be overstated or ignored. By intelligently and systematically repurposing raw organic byproducts that would otherwise simply go to total waste, the massive, rapidly expanding global biomass industry successfully provides a highly scalable, brilliantly eco-friendly, and highly secure source of clean alternative energy capable of reliably fueling both small-scale residential home heating systems and massive, city-powering industrial power generation plants. Investing the necessary time to truly understand this incredibly meticulous, step-by-step industrial manufacturing cycle powerfully highlights the genuinely immense, deeply profound environmental value that is densely packed into absolutely every single shipped bag of commercial pellets. As advanced mechanical technology continues to rapidly evolve and massively advance across the globe, we can safely and confidently expect to witness even greater thermal efficiencies and brilliant structural innovations heavily integrated throughout standard commercial biomass production lines. Whether you are personally aiming to significantly reduce your own personal daily carbon footprint, or you are simply actively seeking a far more highly cost-effective, financially stable way to securely heat your large personal property throughout the freezing winter, making the permanent switch to this highly reliable, renewable resource is a profoundly powerful, highly positive step moving squarely in the right direction. The remarkably tiny, seemingly unassuming wood pellet is completely and undoubtedly paving the secure, bright way toward a vastly brighter, significantly greener, and genuinely far more sustainable global energy future for countless generations to come.